Liverpool rarely lose games. Chelsea, you don't know what Chelsea are going to turn up. You know, we've seen Chelsea play tremendously well against Manchester City twice and then lose at home to Wolves or whoever else it may be. You know, so many poor performances. So the thing with Chelsea is that because they've got so many young new players, you are going to get inconsistency. And the final on Sunday, you just don't know which way that's going to go for some of those younger players who've maybe not experienced it before. Liverpool are a more experienced group, so that would make Liverpool favourites logically. But I do understand that Chelsea's recent form is something most Liverpool fans and players wouldn't have wanted to see. You don't want to go into a final where the other team's flying. You'd rather than being lacking confidence and struggling, but that's not the case. But it'll be a good game. I don't see it being, you know, the Liverpool-Chelsea game at Anfield recently was an amazing performance from Liverpool, really. I don't see it being that one-way traffic again at all.
Do you think there's a part of them that are playing, given that extra bit, given it's Klopp's last season, they've got that extra edge and they just want to do it that little bit more? Do you think that's playing a part?
I don't think it's a factor because it's only just been released, that news. I don't think the players knew all season. I think the bigger reasons for their success is that they've got a really healthy competition for places, which always enhances performance because, you know, if you don't play well, you're going to be out the team. And for a lot of the players, there's very few established players at Liverpool. There's a lot of young players on the way up on their journey, on their career paths. So, you know, for yourself and your career path, you've got to be playing well and really on top of your game and hungry to be playing for a club like Liverpool. Otherwise, you know, you're not going to be playing in the big games, the finals, the semi-finals, the big league encounters, the title deciders against City, Arsenal, whoever it may be. So I think that's more the reason why you've seen this, you know, this real jump in performances from last season and the youthful energy that's been brought in, that competition for places. I mean, I do think the group will benefit from knowing, you know, they of course they'll want to give Klopp a good send-off, but it wasn't like this Liverpool team was underperforming when he told them. You know, you could argue how much more can you get out of this team? They're top of the league. You know, they're in the final of the League Cup. They're in the FA Cup. They're still flying in the Europa League. So it's just a continuation of what they were doing, really. And maybe in the next month or two, you know, the fans' reaction, especially at home games, will galvanise the players more. I think that's something we might see.
What sort of challenge should Liverpool expect from Chelsea in this game?
Chelsea really dangerous. They've got real pace on the counter. If Liverpool dominate a little bit of possession, I mean, Chelsea can dominate the ball at times. They've got wonderfully technically gifted players, but you would think they wouldn't mind playing on the counter. We've seen them do it against the top teams. They actually did well against Liverpool in the home game earlier in the season. But the pace they have on the break with Jackson and Sterling, especially, is a real threat for them. So I think that's something Liverpool have to be wary of, because Liverpool like to play gung-ho. You know, the fullbacks fly forward. Whoever's playing, I think Robertson will probably come back in. Be interesting to see who he plays, whether it be Gomez or Bradley, to deal with the pace on the other side. But Liverpool don't tend to deviate from their own plan, whoever they're playing against. So you would think, unlike the last final, the 0-0, which I was at, and it wasn't particularly great, this will be a lot more open because I think Liverpool will just go after them. You saw the joy that Liverpool got against Chelsea at Anfield by doing that. It's high risk. It's high risk against good players who are quick to really fly after them. But Jurgen Klopp's last season, there's a trophy on the line. I think he'll just let the leash off. And I think Chelsea will cause a problem on the counter. But that's what makes it an interesting game. Poch's team have found a little bit of confidence. I do think, looking at the Chelsea results over the season, you know, they do prefer playing against the better teams sometimes because it gives them the space, you know, to really go after teams on the counter. Whereas when they play teams who have got a low block and give them the ball, they struggle a little bit to break that down. The midfield battle is going to be interesting, of course. Lots of technical ability in there. And I think set plays will be a factor. You know, Liverpool are good on set plays. Chelsea not so good defensively on them, but so many little moments in matches can turn it for you. But the biggest threat, in answer to your question, for Liverpool is Chelsea's pace in the wide areas, that's for sure.
Chelsea have also got that extra motivation, given how disappointing maybe the last 2 years have been. This is their first chance of a trophy of the sort of new era under, with Todd Bowley at the helm. Do you think that gives them an extra motivation to win that?
I don't think the players think that way. I think the players will be desperate to win it just so they can win something. As a young group of players on a journey together, that's what you want to do. You want to start winning trophies so you get that question answered. People, can't start, they haven't won anything for a year, for 2 years, for 3 years. As soon as they win something, that's that off their back. So that's going to be a big thing for them. Finals are difficult to handle mentally at times, depending on how many you've played it. Some of these Chelsea players are young, which might go for them in terms of no fear. Some of them could go the other way. Liverpool have got more experienced players of playing in big games than Chelsea. That could go in Liverpool's favour. We never know. And again, depends on team selection. I think the final on Sunday is more important to Chelsea than it is to Liverpool, in my opinion. I'm not suggesting Liverpool are blasé about it. Of course, they want to win it. But for Poch to get a trophy, for the fans to get behind him, for the players to have belief and move forward and progress, this is a much bigger final for Chelsea than it is for Liverpool. Because let's be honest, if Liverpool lose the League Cup final to Chelsea on Sunday, they could still finish the season with 2 or 3 trophies. And that is still a wonderful season for Liverpool. If the League Cup is not the be all and end all for Liverpool this season, whereas for Chelsea, that's all they've got. And the effect on this Liverpool squad of losing it would not be as detrimental as it would on the Chelsea players, I don't think.